I woke up watching news and finding out we are going to give Argentina a $20 billion bailout. I'm really not crazy. I really never knew this. I am 60 years old. And for the first time in my life, I am scared to death to live in this country. I want to take my family and leave. I can't afford passports. Imagine.
Is the bailout that the United States is sending to Argentina history repeating itself? Let's get into it. So right now, in October of 2025, the United States is sending $40 billion of U.S. taxpayer money to the country of Argentina to bail them out of an economic crisis, all while the United States government is completely shut down. So because the United States is sending so much money to Argentina, there's a lot of speculation surrounding the reasons why. And there are a number of people who are saying, oh, it's because Trump and the president of Argentina are buddy-buddy and can't let your best buds fail, right? And then my partner reminded me of history and the fact that at the end of World War II, when the Nazis were fleeing Germany to escape persecution, the country on this side of the world that absorbed the most was Argentina. So that poses the question. Is this some sort of prepayment? Because they see things going south here in the United States? If that's not it, then why? Why Argentina? Why $40 billion to a foreign country when we have a whole host of issues that $40 billion could solve here in the United States?
So you know how Trump is sending $40 billion to Argentina? I just saw a video, which I reposted, that also pointed out the budget, the 2024 budget for USAID was about $24 billion. So Doge gutted USAID, a $24 billion budget. People are literally dying because of it around the world. Children, AIDS prevention medications aren't going anywhere. Food that was meant for people in dire circumstances rotted in warehouses. Literally lives were lost because of this, because it was so important to save this $24 billion from USAID. And Trump went ahead and just sent $40 billion to his friend in Argentina to bail out their economy while our economy is screaming. It is not going good here. You guys are such a fucking idiots. It's awful here.
You know what's wild? Watching people cheer for policies that destroy them. American farmers voted for tariffs. China stopped buying their soybeans. Those farmers are now losing everything they built. And you'd think maybe America first means taking care of Americans first. Nope. $40 billion in taxpayer money just went to Argentina. The same Argentina now selling soybeans to China. The same Argentina where Wall Street billionaires made risky bets and don't want to lose. American farmers get bankruptcy. Argentina gets a bailout. Wall Street gets protected. And the people who voted for this? Defending it or pretending it's not happening. This is what happens when slogans replace thinking, when loyalty to a team matters more than your own wallet. Welcome back to Mind Mirror. Time to talk about what America First actually looks like.
And another thing, where the fuck they getting all this money to send Argentina? So you can bail another country out while our shit still in shutdown. I'm not following. Where the fuck is this money coming from? 40 billion is insane when it's people out here starving. Minimum wage still $7.25, and motherfuckers ain't even really hiring around this bitch. What is going on?
So Argentina's bailout's now $40 billion, double what it originally was going to be. Do you know what we could do with $40 billion in America? You could expand Medicaid. You could provide free community college for folks. You could build 100,000 plus hundreds of thousands of affordable houses for families. You could do a lot with $40 billion. But you know what you shouldn't be doing? Sending it to other countries.
Exactly. Let's actually sit with that number for a second. $40 billion. That's not abstract. That's Medicaid expansion in every state that refused it. That's free community college for millions of students drowning in debt before they even start. That's 400,000 affordable homes for families working 2 jobs and still living in cars. Instead, we're propping up Argentina's peso. Why? Because Javier Milei is in trouble politically, and Wall Street firms made risky bets that are about to go sideways. Nobody's saying we shouldn't help other countries strategically. But this isn't humanitarian aid. This isn't even smart geopolitics. This is a bailout for billionaires who gambled poorly and don't want to take the loss. And the people who believed America first was literal, they're starting to realize it was just marketing. The product they got isn't what was advertised. That's the scam. Promise the bottom, deliver for the top, and hope nobody notices until it's too late.
Okay. I thought we were America first, Mr. Trump. I really thought that we were America first. And it certainly seems like it's every other country before us. Prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong.
So the same maggots who were happy about defunding USAID, USAID, because they don't want their money going to another country, are now championing giving Argentina $20 to $40 billion. Make that make fucking sense, please.
The United States economy is not very well. There are more people suffering right now under the tariffs and Donald Trump than there has been in a long time. But we're going to send $40 billion to another country to bail out their economy. But save the children. Help the vets.
Right? This contradiction is wild. The same voices saying we can't afford universal health care, child care subsidies, or veteran mental health services suddenly discover $40 billion lying around when it's time to protect corporate investments overseas. Here's what's actually happening. Rural broadband, slashed. SNAP benefits, under attack. Affordable Care Act subsidies, set to expire. Federal workers, laid off or not getting paid. But when BlackRock, Fidelity, and PIMCO firms managing trillions face losses on their Argentina bets, suddenly the U.S. government becomes the safety net. That's not capitalism. That's not even crony capitalism. That's just wealth extraction dressed up as foreign policy. And if you're sitting in a community without decent internet, wondering why your veteran neighbor can't get proper care, this is why. The money exists. It's just never been for you. The system works exactly as designed. It's just not designed for the people who believe in it most. Here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, has direct connections to the firms heavily invested in Argentina. BlackRock, Fidelity, PIMCO, and Elon Musk is in there too. Connect the dots. These firms made high-risk investments in a country that's defaulted on its debt 9 times. 9. When you invest in Argentina, you know what you're signing up for. But here's the game. If you're rich enough and connected enough, risk doesn't exist. When your bet goes bad, the U.S. government bails you out with taxpayer money. Simple. This isn't conspiracy. Bessent's connections are public record. The investments are public record. The bailout is public record. What's missing? Accountability. Because the people who should be furious, the ones who voted for Drain the Swamp and America First, are defending it. They're attacking anyone who questions it. That's how you know the con worked perfectly. When you can rob someone and they defend you while you do it, you've mastered the game.
This just in, the Trump administration is now working on doubling its bailout for Argentina and is working to provide the failing country with $40 billion instead of the original $20 billion. The Trump regime is trying to rush aid to Argentina as its economy collapses before the country's election, in part to try to help keep Trump ally Javier Milei in power. Bessent said that the U.S. government has ramped up its purchases of Argentinian pesos as well to try to bolster the collapsing currency. It should be noted that Bessent's close friends at firms like BlackRock, Fidelity, and PIMCO are heavily invested in Argentina, as is Elon Musk. So this is Bessent trying to save him and his cronies from losing money. All this at a time when Republicans are refusing to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies and are laying off federal workers. We're going to keep following all the news, so follow along and listen to the Midas Touch podcast for more.
I really can't with MAGA. I really can't with you guys. You claim to love this country. These people are robbing you blind to your fucking face, and you're too stupid to see it. Unbelievable. I mean, this whole deal, like I said, just start at the beginning. Trump, out of the blue, for no reason other than he's a horrible businessman, which we all knew except for you MAGA folks, imposes tariffs on China. China retaliates with tariffs. They stop buying soybeans. So Midwest farmers are now getting decimated because out of the blue, Trump just randomly wants to tax China and put tariffs on China, so they stop buying soybeans from us. Start buying them from other countries, namely Argentina. Right? Completely self-inflicted wound right there. But then, to pour salt in that fucking wound, Argentina's in trouble, and now we're going to give them $40 billion?
The timeline here is crucial. This is how we got to this insane place. 2018, tariffs get slapped on China, supposedly to bring back American jobs and punish unfair trade. China doesn't collapse. They retaliate. They stop buying U.S. soybeans and turn to Brazil and Argentina. American farmers get crushed. Soybean prices tank. Storage facilities overflow with crops nobody will buy. Family farms that ran for generations start going under. And now the U.S. is sending $40 billion to Argentina, the exact country eating America's lunch in the soybean market. So to recap, start a trade war. It backfires on American farmers. China buys from Argentina instead. Argentina's economy still struggles, and American taxpayers fund their bailout while U.S. farmers get nothing. This is beyond incompetence. This is economic self-destruction with a victory lap. The worst part? The farmers suffering most are the ones who believed the promises. They trusted the plan. Now they're watching their life's work disappear while their tax dollars save the country that replaced them. That's not policy failure. That's betrayal.
And it's more than just the president of Argentina is a friend of Trump's. A lot of investment firms have put big investments into Argentina that are now going to be in serious danger of being worthless. All these friends of Trump, billionaire friends of Trump, taxpayers are funding to make sure their investments don't go bad. And MAGA don't care because they think they're owning the libs somehow as everything burns down.
This is where it stops being funny. This is where it becomes genuinely tragic. People losing everything, farms, savings, futures, and they're still defending the policies that destroyed them. Why? Because admitting they were wrong feels worse than going bankrupt. It's like staying in a burning house because leaving would mean admitting you left the stove on. Pride becomes more valuable than survival. Nobody wants to feel conned. Nobody wants to admit they were manipulated. But at some point, you have to look at reality. Your farm is failing. Your community is collapsing. Your tax dollars are protecting foreign investments you'll never benefit from. Meanwhile, the libs you thought you were owning, they're not even thinking about you. They're just watching in disbelief as you defend the people actively harming you. This isn't ideology anymore. This isn't conservative versus liberal. This is reality versus fantasy. And reality is brutal. You can't own anyone when you don't even own your own land anymore. The bank does. And soon, someone else will.
I need to get off this app because you guys are stressing and depressing me today. Stressing and depressing me today.
Yes, I'm making another video today. I just found out that instead of $20 billion that Trump is giving to Argentina, it's actually $40 billion. And the farmers still haven't been given a dime. I did not vote for Trump, and I'm a farmer. Well, my husband's a farmer. We're a farm family. So I'm interested to see what he's going to do for us. China's getting their soybeans from Argentina, so they should be sitting pretty. Especially with $40 billion stuck in their pocket.
It's $40 billion now. It's now bailing out Argentina to the tune of $40 billion taxpayer dollars. Just let that sink in a little bit. Anybody, MAGA? What say you, MAGA? I mean, does this go along with your philosophy of government, of use of money? We've got people starving. We've got farmers going bankrupt. We need that money a lot more than they do. Come on, comment, or stitch this, or do a video comment response. Please, just tell me, how does this make sense?
Sometimes the simplest question cuts deepest. How does this make sense? It doesn't. There's no logical framework. You can't claim fiscal responsibility while throwing $40 billion overseas. You can't preach small government while orchestrating massive international bailouts. You can't shout America first while putting American farmers dead last. What gets me is this farmer isn't begging. They're not demanding free money. They're just asking why Argentina gets $40 billion while American farmers who followed the rules, worked hard, and believed the promises are left to drown. That's fair. And the silence from the people who should be screaming tells you everything, because there's no good answer. Every explanation sounds insane out loud. We're bailing out Argentina so billionaires don't lose money. Ridiculous. We're helping a foreign leader stay in power. Corrupt. No money for Americans, but plenty for Argentina. Betrayal. So they don't answer. They just get angry, you asked. And that's how you know you hit the nerve. The truth won.
Because it certainly doesn't to me. My name's Damien. I'm for making sense and for democracy.
And we have some breaking news. The Argentina bailout just doubled. And yes, it's still your tax dollars footing the bill. Let's unpack what's really going on. The Trump administration has reportedly expanded U.S. financial support for Argentina from $20 billion to a potential $40 billion. Part bailout, part political gamble. Here's the breakdown. The first $20 billion was already confirmed earlier this month. The U.S. literally bought Argentinian pesos to stabilize their collapsing currency. Now, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says they're looking to double that amount by pulling in another $20 billion from private banks and sovereign funds. But those are still backed by U.S. guarantees. The official line is that this will support Argentina's reforms, but critics, including members of Congress, are calling it a taxpayer-funded bailout for a country whose economy keeps crashing and whose president happens to be Trump's ideological ally. Here's the political twist. Trump has hinted that future support depends on Argentina's October 26 elections, which many say turns this into a geopolitical bet, not a rescue. So this isn't just economics, it's about influence, of course. We're watching a new kind of foreign policy emerge, money as loyalty test. So, do you support this kind of foreign bailout? If it means more global leverage, or do you think America should fix itself first? I don't know, let's talk.
Remember when we heard that Donald Trump was sending a $20 billion bailout to Argentina? That didn't make a lot of sense, especially with all the problems we have in this country. Well, that's been updated. It's now not $20 billion, it's $40 billion. And still, the farmers haven't gotten a bailout. We've got federal employees not collecting paychecks. Donald Trump always said America first, but why is Argentina now coming first? And not just $20 billion, now $40 billion. This is all about Donald Trump trying to help out one of his buddies who's going to be a radical right leader if he gets elected. Now remember what Donald Trump said. Yeah, we're going to be very generous with Argentina, but if you don't vote my guy in, you may not get it. This sounds very illegal, doesn't it? It doesn't make a lot of sense, and it doesn't sound like it's America first.
Wait, this is where it crosses from stupid into potentially criminal territory. The U.S. is conditioning billions in aid on election outcomes in another country. We'll be very generous to Argentina, but if you don't vote for our preferred candidate, you might not get the money. Read that again. That's not diplomacy. That's attempting to buy an election with taxpayer funds. If any other politician did this, there'd be investigations, hearings, wall-to-wall coverage, but somehow it gets added to the pile of things we're supposed to ignore and move past. This matters. This sets precedent. If a president can openly tie foreign aid to election interference without consequences, what stops the next one? What stops any of them? And for the law and order crowd who spent years screaming about election integrity, where are you? This is actual election interference, just happening in Argentina instead of America. But I guess rules only matter when they're weaponized against people you don't like. When it's your team doing it, suddenly everything's flexible. Suddenly it's strategy, not corruption.
Sounds like it's Argentina first. Somebody needs to ask that question and insist on an answer. And this is one of the problems we've had with the media, not doing that.
Taxpayer bailout of Argentina to $40 billion.
I keep thinking to myself, how? How is he doing something like this? Giving $40 billion now to Argentina to bail them out. Half of which is taxpayer, because I looked into it, taxpayer on us. I thought, how the hell is he doing this without going through Congress? But I think I figured it out. there's a law. I live in Pennsylvania, and there's a law actually still on the books that if I go upstairs and eat an ice cream cone in the bathtub, I would get charged. It's stupid. It's old. It's just silly. And every state has them. And I guarantee you, the federal law has some of that shit too. So what they're doing is they're having some incel attorney looking up these, because it is a law. They're using a certain law from like 1939. And I'm sorry, I can't tell you the specific. I mean, I could probably put it down in the comments if anybody wants to know the specific law. But they are using a certain law that gives them leeway to use these funds for another country without going through Congress. But it has to be an agreement between the president and the treasurer. So it gives way too much power to two people. I mean, it's controversial because it's not how our government works. But I guarantee you, Republicans and MAGA, they're not going to give a fuck about this probably, like they don't anything else. But had me pretty heated, so I looked into it. But yeah, they're using old stupid laws just to get away with shit.
Well, remember the $20 billion that were sent to Argentina to bail out their economy after we tanked it with tariffs? Now they want to double it. Keep in mind, they don't have any funding to fund our own government, but they want to send $40 billion to Argentina to bail out their economy. How is that America first? When we aren't even paying our service members, our TSA workers, we have parts of the government closed. We have the entire government closed. We have parts of non-essential services closed. But we can send $40 billion to Argentina? How is that America first? How does that put your average American first? Please explain to me how. Why are you going to double the number when you could use it here in America?
For the love of fucking God, stop what you're doing and listen to this. Yeah, I'm one of those content creators now. If you're already thinking no because you're cussing, get over it. A few days ago, I reported on Donald Trump giving away 20 billion US taxpayer dollars to Argentina. You didn't see that shit on the news. No, today, they're talking about it today. Well, today it's old news because he just decided it needed to be 40 billion. 40 billion. So yes, 40 billion US taxpayer dollars are going to bail out Argentina because their president, today, when the mainstream media finally starts talking about this, it's old news because now it's 40 billion. 40 billion. You know, the guy who likes to throw around the chainsaw and gave one to Elon, that worked out well for us, didn't it? Well, that guy who was elected in 2024 was also an economist, not a very good one, because he tanked their country. A totally manufactured economic crisis, you know, kind of like the one we're in now. And Trump's treasury guy has a counterpart in the All Things Billionaire Economic Club who is about to lose a shit ton of money. See, they thought if they infused $20 billion into the economy by buying their pesos, things would just snap back. Well, they didn't. The markets didn't react the way they wanted them to. So Trump's like, let's just double down with our money. You know what we get out of it? Nothing. Nothing. But that guy is friends with Elon. They both have chainsaws. They use Elon's Starlink. Elon bought Trump an election. Elon connected to Trump. Beckett connected to the billionaire. This isn't even like an exciting conspiracy theory that you have to like spend 10 minutes digging on. This is just an infuriating one. That would have been really impactful if I could pronounce that damn word.
The media asked y'all's president what is the benefit of him giving Argentina what used to be $20 billion, but I heard overnight that it's now $40 billion. And y'all's president essentially was like, we just really helping out a friend. You know, we ain't really no benefit like that. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. There's no benefit. We're helping out a friend. I thought we didn't have no money. I thought we were strapped for cash with the government being shut down and everything.
We're just helping out a friend. That's the official line. Not strategic interest. Not national security. Not even a fake reason about trade partnerships. Just helping a friend. With $40 billion of your money. Think about what that means. Americans working 2 jobs can't afford rent. Told there's no money. Parents skipping meals so kids can eat. Told food stamps need cuts. Sick people dying because they can't afford treatment. Told healthcare isn't a right. But when the administration's buddy in Argentina needs help, sure, here's $40 billion. We're generous like that. The disrespect is staggering. Not even the effort to construct a believable lie. Just straight telling people your needs don't matter, but my friends do. And expecting everyone to nod along. And some do. They nod. They defend it. They attack anyone questioning it. Because they've been so thoroughly manipulated that they'll accept any explanation as long as it comes from the right source. That's not loyalty. That's not patriotism. That's just conditioning. And it's working exactly as intended.
1 minute we're strapped. The next minute we're pulling in all kinds of revenue from them daggone tariffs. The next minute we giving money to Argentina, talking about we bailing out a friend just for the sake of bailing out a friend. But conveniently, whenever it's time to do right by the citizens and the residents in this country, and whenever it's time to address issues that truly matter, social justice issues, economic issues, educational issues, health issues, we don't never have the money for that, but we can squander funds while our own farmers are borrowing, and stealing to make ends meet because China didn't buy no soybeans from them. It doesn't make sense.
Sorry, folks, we got the numbers wrong. So you may be aware that farmers in the United States are suffering greatly under Trump's economic strategy. In particular, soybean farmers are in terrible distress. They're losing their homes, they're losing their businesses, they're losing their trailers. They just don't have enough money because the soybeans aren't being bought. Well, Donald Trump, of course, is propping up the Argentine farming economy and giving them $20 billion. Well, sorry, breaking news. It's not $20 billion, it's actually $40 billion. Folks, let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Nick. Love you guys to give me a follow. Source for this is This Week and The New Republic.
Because of Trump's stupid tariffs. When are you going to stand up for us instead of kissing his ass for these trade deals?
Thousands of U.S. farmers are currently being choked out by Trump's foreign trade policies. Because what happens when your entire economic playbook is to just slam the world's second largest economy with tariffs and hope they submit? They retaliate. Let's break down what's happening right now with China and soybeans. China is, or was rather, the largest buyer of U.S. soybean exports in the world. Last year, they bought over 50% of U.S. soybean exports. That's $12.6 billion worth of soybeans. Do you know how many soybeans they bought since May of this year? Zero. And that's because of Trump's tariffs. Since taking office, Trump and his team have been very hard on China. And in retaliation, China chose to impose a duty on U.S. soybeans, meaning Chinese businesses are now looking for cheaper soybeans to buy. Specifically, they're turning to South America, Brazil and Argentina. Brazil is now the world's largest exporter of food to China. They've had a very good relationship with China over the years. But Argentina is even more interesting. Argentina is the world's third largest exporter of soybeans behind the U.S. and Brazil. And not only is China buying more soybeans from Argentina, the U.S. just gave a $40 billion bailout to Argentina to help with their struggling economy and keep their right-wing president in power. Giving $40 billion to Argentina while China, the world's second largest economy, is looking to do more business with the country? Not a great plan. So what is the U.S. going to do? Well, Trump is set to meet with Xi Jinping later this month to discuss trade, including soybeans. Is this trade war going to escalate further? I don't know, but I don't think in 2025 this wand measuring contest is one that America can win. So that's it for now. Follow me for more coverage. Wishing the best for American farmers.
$40 billion to Argentina. But full stop on those SNAP benefits. You know what I'm saying? Hey, MAGA, are you still going to be cheering? I voted for this next month when you can't buy fucking groceries. Jesus Christ.
And we want to see it succeed. It's very simple. I mean, we don't have to do it.
It's not going to make a big difference for our country, but it will in terms of South.
So I thought America was first. But now we know Argentina is first, second is Israel, and we are third.
There it is, from the administration's own mouth. It's not going to make a big difference for our country. So why do it? Why spend $40 billion on something that doesn't help America? The admission is right there. This isn't about American interests. This is about propping up South America, specifically Argentina. Look, foreign aid can make sense when it builds alliances, opens markets, prevents conflicts, addresses humanitarian crises that can be strategic. But that's not this. This is propping up a failing economy to keep a political ally in power so American billionaires don't lose money on bad investments. That's it. That's the entire strategy. And the ranking tells you everything you need to know. Argentina first with $40 billion. Israel gets billions more. Americans, third place, maybe fourth. Definitely behind countries contributing less while Americans beg for crumbs. If you voted for America first, and you're watching this unfold, you have to ask, is this what you signed up for? Because it sure isn't what was promised. And if you're still defending it, still making excuses, still attacking people pointing out the obvious, you didn't vote for America first. You voted for a slogan. Now you're stuck with reality.
Right? Let me read something to you. The U.S. is giving Argentina up to $40 billion in financial assistance, part of a two-stage plan for 2025. This aid package, announced in October 2025 by the PIC administration, is intended to stabilize Argentina's economy and currency. Intend to stabilize Argentina economy. So what about our economy? What about our economy? $40 billion. Imagine. Oh, shit. So this is what you voted for, MAGAs? Is this what you voted for? You happy now? You're happy? I thought America was first. Now we're seeing that it's not. We are third. Because first is Argentina with $40 billion. Then was Israel. And I don't know now if we're even third or fourth or fifth or I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Is this what you voted for? Fucking idiots.
$40 billion for Argentina. Yes, that's right. Trump has revised the bailout for Argentina. In case you don't remember, when the Trump administration initially proposed giving $20 billion to Argentina for a bailout, the very next day, they turned on the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was shown texting about how the U.S. had lost their leverage against China as soon as Argentina dropped their tariffs. So now Trump has doubled the amount of money he's giving to Argentina. Wow, great business strategy.